What's going on? This is 91, and I am here with my man Kevo Arts. Kevo, what's going on, bro?
What's up, baby?
Hey, so I had the pleasure of meeting Kevo back in 2009. Seen him come from some very humble beginnings when he was just getting started doing tattoos. He seemed like, one of those guys that everyone in the neighborhood just knew and had love for. I just remember when we go to your crib, when we first tatting out the crib and everything back in the day.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
The people that would just come through was like people were always coming through, just showing a lot of love. So just kind of tell us about your journey from there to now, because now we're not in a tattoo shop, we're in your art studio.
Yeah, we're in my art studio right now. As far as the journey, I mean, to be realistic, it's something I don't like talking about it because of my brand is so positive now, but it is what it is. Mm-hmm. I come from the streets. I'm very popular for the type of things I was doing in the streets. Art somehow changed my life in the midst of going to prison, being shot, and getting the opportunity to get out of that by starting businesses in art. So now that I'm so far from where I came from, I've kind of started my childhood dream right now. Mm-hmm. It's really how I feel about it.
So when did the transition from tattoos into full-time art happen?
See, I think I was an artist already. I think the transition was more so how people looked at me. Mm-hmm. Like they look at me like, oh, he's a tattoo artist. But as a tattooist, all I did was want to be a better artist. Like I would always go take classes and take workshops, mm-hmm. or like I wouldn't even travel unless it was to a convention to learn something new. Mm-hmm. So I would go. I remember one time I went to Boston to learn how to tattoo better. But it was art classes that were focused on tattoo artists. So mm-hmm. I think that the artist part been there, and I think just how people look at it is the brand of a tattooist. I think they're just like, oh, that's what I know him from tattooing. Mm-hmm. So when I started posting paintings and stuff, and people seeing me, oh, he's painting now. I haven't stopped tattooing. It's just not a lot of freedom.
It's really just like a different medium.
Basically, it's not a lot of freedom with just tattooing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what freedom do you gain with art?
Well, with art, the freedom comes from, I'm like, for example, in my studio, I do my own thing, but I also teach. And the freedom comes with this experience of, I just got my master's, right, in fine arts.
Congratulations.
And in that process, I learned a lot more about what it's like to have a career as an artist versus just be drawing and painting all the time. And the freedom comes from the actual art form. So me teaching that to people and living it myself, that's a lot more freedom because I'm going to exhibitions, I'm going to galleries, and I'm experiencing new artists and new mediums all the time. So the freedom is like an everyday thing. It's not like we're tattooing, I'm limited to what a person wants.
Right.
Or meeting people in the middle to where I can throw paint on the wall, it's just a lot more freedom with being a practicing artist.
Was this always in the vision?
For sure. I've been thinking about this since I was a kid. Mm-hmm. It's funny because I made a video about doubting yourself. When I started opening this place, I had so many doubts that I was like, okay, I'll make it event space too, just in case people don't come to the art studio. And I had to erase that from my mind because in the back of my head, it was like, I always wanted my own art studio, and I always wanted a place where I can teach workshops and stuff. So it's always been in a vision. It just happened to happen around the time of me graduating.
Right.
And that's credit to the school I went to, Houston Baptist University. They did a really good job at pushing people individually in their own direction. Mm-hmm. So I credit a lot of that to them.
Okay. So you say, you lived a certain life before you really got to dive into your art the way you wanted to. You say you feel like you're just now getting to live your childhood dream. Yeah. Do you feel like if you would have had art classes and more resources available to you as a kid, you could have avoided prison and some of the hard things that you went through?
that's a big deal right there, because I feel like right now it's a lot of kids and adults that were artists or they are artists, and there's nowhere to go or nowhere to do art to just actually do it, not like go practice. Like have somebody say, "Hey, let me give you some criticism," because that's another thing we don't get these days because of all of these. People are very sensitive. But when I was a child, there were a few programs, but I couldn't afford any of that. And then as I got older and I started tattooing, and when I did have the money to do it, I always did it. But even those were expensive, even relative to what I'm doing now with my art classes. I've seen some art classes Tuesday and Thursday for like $400 a week. And like my art classes are Monday through Thursday for the lowest is $60 a week, you know? So I'm like, that's still in the back of my head that when I was younger, I couldn't afford this. And yeah, that definitely had a huge impact on me opening in this.
So what can kids gain from coming to your art classes versus going to one that's $400 a week?
Yeah, it's not just kids, it's for adults too. But the main thing is, the main things are, I've had this ability, you know, some call it universe, some say it's God-given. I have this ability my whole life to understand art in a very democratic way. Like that's like something I always noticed that I can do. I can talk to art about anybody. You know what I'm saying? So to answer your question, I realized that what people want for their kids is for them to be smart, for them to have good character, for them to be socially acceptable. And I also realized that with art, that the ability to focus on something builds your character. It helps you read, it helps you understand, it helps you reason too. The ability to focus on something for hours. The ability to be comfortable with being criticized helps you with your, motor skills and with your social awareness. Right. So not only are kids and adults coming here and getting like lessons, like art lessons, these characteristics that you gain in art mentally help you in the real world, in my opinion.
Okay. So tell us more information just on the class overall. What can I expect? Or say I just want to get into art, and I come across your class. What can I expect?
Well, everything is foundational. You know, being an expert and being good at something or great at something, as great as I am at art, the basics are all that matters. So when I'm teaching a portrait class, my aunt was watching actually one of them, and she was like, "Wow, these people only been in here for 3 hours, and you made them do these portraits." Like, I'm so strict on the basics and the foundations of art that, because that's what builds good artists, that nobody could learn that enough. So I don't care what level you are, you can do the basics at any level, and I can make it advanced for you. There's a basic way to draw a straight line, and then there's an advanced way to draw perspective, but it all entails the basics, you know.
How many different classes are you offering right now?
I have 4 classes right now. For kids, they start at $60 a week, and for adults, they start at $75 a week. And I have an anatomy class. I have models come in. We drop models. I have a museum practice and etiquette class, a calligraphy class. Oh, I have 5 classes, and a portrait painting class to teach people how to paint portraits, because that's one thing that I noticed that you can make money on. If you can paint somebody's face, somebody's gonna buy it. So that's something that I know people would benefit from. Hey, I want you to paint me. Okay, give me a couple $100.
Okay. So as far as your classes, where do you see them going? What's the growth that you're looking to achieve with your classes?
That's a good question, because to be honest, I feel like I could do this all around the world. I could do it online. I could open a couple of these places, but to stick with here and now, I think that I just would like to just be busy, because making art, teaching art, being around art, going to the museum, staying busy like that, that's just my happiness. That's my happy place. Busy with art. That's my happy place.
Okay. So what do you want the community to know about Kevo and Kevo Arts?
The community. I want the community to understand that things like character are important to people like me, because when I was younger, I didn't have mentors, or I didn't have a place to go and stuff like that. And that child in everybody, it goes with you as you get older. But that child in me looks at a person and says, if they just had this little bit of extra help or this little extra advice, this might help them one day. I just told a friend something the other day, and he was like, man, every time you say something, I appreciate it because I know it's genuine and I've seen your journey. So I would want the community to know that this is my brand, my character is a very big deal to me, and I really wouldn't break that for anybody. So people could trust me up here with anything.
And then let everyone know, who is Kevo Arts for? Who are you trying to get in here? Who you want to see in your classes?
My classes are not for everybody. It's for people who wanna grow, who wanna get better, or for people who want a family or friend to grow and get better. It's not just you just can't throw anybody in here, because they got to be able to handle. I pressure people. I ask people to draw with their opposite hand. I ask people to draw with their eyes closed sometimes. I ask people to look into articles and explain different things to me, and I don't just ask them to do it. I help people understand that there's a jargon for any field. There's a vocabulary for any field. There's a difference between color and hue. And like me hearing myself talk about this now, like honestly, I can't even say I can't imagine that I would have been who I am right now, because it's like I'm just me times 10. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna challenge. I want people who need to be or want to be challenged. Like, not just anybody who's just gonna quit.
Okay. Yeah. And then just let everyone know exactly where they can contact you.
Instagram, Kevo Arts. Website, kevoarts.com. Phone number is 713-504-5218.
And where are we located now?
Harwin and Fundra, southwest side of Houston.